Okay, so let's drop in the chat just to make sure everybody is able to join us before we get started here. Wokkah, are you recording? Just want to make sure. Recording.
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, so once we're done with the recording, let's send it to. Yeah, excited to be here. Drop it in the chat. Excited to be here. Yes. Let us know where you're messaging from. Let us know. And also, if you have friends, Ibukun, can you drop the Zoom chat in the Zoom link in the chat? So everyone who is here, invite all your friends here because it's going to be an exciting time. From Kaduna, we have Daniel from Amu, Wofford, Dauphin, Lagos, Kwara State, Kaduna, Asaba. Mary from Abuja. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Excited to have you on today. It's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing time. I'm here at the Wokkah studio and broadcasting live from the Wokkah studio today. So I'm really excited to have you guys on. Let's get all our friends in. We're about to get started here. We're going to be breaking down how you can start creating animations, cartoons, things of that nature. We're going to start today, but we're going to actually continue this subject maybe in the next 1-2 weeks, but I want to make sure that we started the conversation today. If you are here and you use Chat GPT already, put it in the chat, use Chat GPT. I use Chat GPT. And I want you to tell me on the chat, what do you use Chat GPT for? So you use Chat GPT, what do you use Chat GPT for? Are you using it for prompting? Are you using it for coding? You drop it in the chat. What do you use Chat GPT for? So content creation. Obina said I use it for everything. Give me 5 everythings, 5 of the everythings. Anybody else? While we wait for people to join. Content creation and data analysis. Great job. Thanks, Mohammed, for sharing. Anybody else? What do you use GPT for? Generate memos. Assignments. Well, thank you for the honesty. I use ChatGPT for designing daily research and assignments. Very good. Incredible. 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 Please send this to all your friends because we're about to get started here and I don't want to have to, go back because once I start, we get started and we start sort of building up on top of what it is that we're doing. So make sure that you get all your friends in right now before we get started. I have a good number here. So we're going to be getting started here soon. So I use it for coding, design, assignments, my chat friends. I use ChatGPT for educational research from Akwa Ibom. Good to see you. Good to have you on from Akwa Ibom. Thanks for joining. Looks like every city and every state is represented here. Exciting. I didn't know ChatGPT can do picture editing. Well, not necessarily picture editing, but we'll get into it soon. You understand what it can do, what it can't do. And really what we're actually going to be covering today is the first piece of it, which is really how do you create storylines in GPT? Then how do you create a storyboard in GPT? And then how do you take the storyboard and generate images from GPT? And then some of you will start learning how to start creating your books and your cartoons. And like, it would be really nice if I see if some people actually created a book and shared it on the WhatsApp group. So we'll dive into it soon here. So while we're waiting, let me start prepping my system here to get ready to go deep. What you'll be learning here is going to change your perspective on creating animation. Is going to change your perspective on creating books and things of that nature. I'm going to expose you to some tools that I want for you to start using to get things done on your own and practicing, because these tools are going to be extremely useful for you just all together in making things happen. We have CapCut, we have Canva, we have ChatGPT, we have Kling. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thanks, Ibukun, for that piece. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Just want to make sure we're recording, right? Ibukun, we're recording.
Yes, we have some.
Okay, So I'm going to start with a question. And for those that stay till the end, there are a few things that I'm going to be sharing at the end that will change or shift the way you perceive animation and will probably give you an edge in the market. So if you hang on to the end, a few things that you're going to learn along the way that would actually help you to not just build, but to be able to use this to start creating income for yourself. All right. So, but if you hang on tight, then we'll get there. So today we're going to be talking about how to use GPT to create comics, cartoons, and potentially animations. And so when you think about animation, or when you think about cartoons or comics, these are ways of communicating visually to a specific audience. And so if you were communicating with an adult audience, you could just write a book and the adult is able to pick the book and read it. In some cases, there are some adults that don't necessarily like reading as well. So we have who we call the visual learners, and the visual learners are able to, when they see pictures and they see descriptions, they're able to better understand. They're able to essentially assimilate what is being shared with them because things are being shared more from a visual perspective. And so comics and cartoons are ways of communicating specific message via visuals and via pictures. And so the first thing to be able to create this is you need to have a story. You need to have a story. And so I want someone to give us the title of a story. And while you're giving the title of the story, what I really want you to really focus on for the title of the story that you're given is more, what is it that we're trying to communicate? What lesson do we want people to learn? And once we identify the lessons we want people to learn, then we start asking, okay, what title do we give it, right? So we're going to start with a specific story. We're going to identify the lessons we want people to learn at the end of the story, right? And then we can start building from there. Someone just shared the missing notes. Any other ideas? The missing notes. So someone has an idea around the missing notes. What's the core message on the missing notes? So if we identify the title, the missing note as what we want to really build our story around, then can someone or can Daniel share what is it that we're trying to communicate with the missing note? I'm trying to think myself. Are we saying that? Trying to think. And for those who have other ideas, you can also put it in the chat as well. Trying to think. What would be the essence of the missing notes? Was there something important in the note that needed to be shared that for some weird reason didn't get communicated appropriately? And for that reason, created a situation for X, Y, and Z? What are we trying to communicate with the missing notes? So while we're getting that, does anyone have another title they want us to pursue? A loyal friend. Okay. A loyal friend. A loyal friend. What about the loyal friend are we trying to communicate in our story? like a loyal friend is someone that could be trusted. So are we trying to communicate trust? What are we trying to communicate in the story? So I'll go with the loyal friend. But if anyone has any other title, feel free to drop it in. Trust and sacrifice. Okay. Okay, so trust and sacrifice is what we're trying to communicate here. So in our story, we're going to weave the idea of trust and sacrifice. So I'm going to teach you how to really start crafting that out. So before we start doing all the designs and everything, these are the things that we need to understand. These are the things that we need to. What's clapping for no reason? I don't understand what this means. Clapping for the wrong reasons. What does that mean? Abdul Majid, what I'm trying to understand. Is that? Oh, that's another title. I love that. Clapping for the wrong reasons. I like how creative this team is. You guys are so creative. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Clapping for the wrong reasons. So we're going to sketch out our story. And so I'm going to share my screen here. Learning the hard way. It's another good one. Learning the hard way. Okay. So I'm just going to randomly pick one. So let's pick learning the hard way. So I would say character X or Y. Character Y. Character Y is stubborn, right? Character is very stubborn. Because someone who learns the hard way is someone who is particularly very stubborn. Um, very difficult to work with. I think someone is writing on the top of my notes. Let me do this. So let me reshare my screen again. So Ibukun, it looks like I'm seeing your pen on my notes. All right. So character Y, stubborn, difficult to please, difficult to convince. What else can we say about character Y? Fights all the time, right? And this character Y might actually be our main actor. I'm just using my Zoom notes, Enoch. So you can use anything. You could use your notes to just write it. It doesn't have to be what I'm using. Right? Fights all the time, gets into arguments, right? So this is the character. So what name should we give this character? What name should we give this character? Can I get some name suggestions? Someone said Majid. Judas. Someone said Tinubu. Isn't that funny? I'll say Musa. I'm going to call Musa. All right, so Musa. So Musa is the name of our character. Right? So now we have the character, we have the title, which is Learn the Hard Way, or Learning the Hard Way. Then we can say to ourselves, okay, how many characters do we want in this particular scene? So we say we want minimum of 4 characters, right? Minimum of 4 characters. What do we want what do we want the theme to be? Should it be suspense? So say we want it to be a suspense movie. I'd say attention grabbing. We want it to also have some twists and turns, right? Twists and turns. We want it to keep the viewers engaged, right? So we'll change this character Y, we say the name is Musa. So we're going to use this to create a prompt, right? So we're going to use this to create a prompt. So I'm going to go here. We are now on GPT. And we're going to say, ask GPT to, I'm going to say, can you all see my screen? Can everybody see my screen?
We can still see the nuts board, not the GPT.
Okay. So I'm going to screen. How about this? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Say, can you create a story about a young guy, Musa, who was stubborn, doesn't listen to hard to convince, and you can say the story. So now if you have your own story, you can basically create your own story from scratch. But in this case, we're trying to create a story fast so that I can go through the whole segment quickly, right? So the story should have suspense, twists and turns, attention grabbing sessions. And I'll say the title of the story should be learning the hard way. The hard way. And so, boom. So it starts to create this for us. So this is the story. One day his uncle, an experienced electrician, offered to teach Musa how to install a solar inverter system. Watch first, his uncle warned, you touch nothing until I say so. Musa smiled. Uncle, it's just wires, I can figure it out. Halfway through the installation, his uncle stepped away to take a call. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this story. And I'm going to drop it in the chat so that everybody can see it. Yeah, so this is a paid version of GPT, but you can get the same thing with the free. Now it might require additional prompting, but like ultimately your stories will be generated there. How much does it cost? $20, but I think it might cost cheaper. Let's I'm going to break this down. Cuts. For some weird reason, the people that are joining. Okay, so pasted this, and then pasted this, and then pasted that. So you have the whole story. So I'm going to take this story, right? And then I'm going to come to explore. I'm going to look for character. Actually, see more. So I'm going to come to does everyone know how to get to GPTs? I'm getting some questions. Okay, Gombe. Does everyone know how to get to GPTs and click explore? So once you get there, what you want to do, let me see if I Got everybody answer yes. Did everybody answer yes? Franklin says yes. Anybody else? Okay, Nafisa says yes. Ben says no. So Ben, are you on your computer? If you are, you should be able to see this. Yes, yes, I can see it. Okay, good. So what we want to do, okay, I found it now. So what we want to do is we click Animation Script Builder here. Animation Script Builder here. You start the chat. And then I would say, write a 2D cartoon script about a cat and mouse, right? But in our case, I'll copy this, write a cartoon script about, so I'm going to come here. And I'm going to paste that here, write a cartoon script about, and I'm going to remove the cat and mouse. And guess what I'm going to put? I'm going to put what we generated prior, right? So we're going to go back to our previous generation, which is learning the hard way. So I'm going to copy this story. I'm going to copy this story from the beginning. I'm going to copy it all the way to the end. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to say, write a cartoon script about, and then it goes to this story, right? So we copy this entire thing, and then we'll drop it in our chat. So let's go back to animation script builder, and then I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm going to press enter and see what happens. And by the time we do this, it says the number of characters: Musa, the main character, brilliant but stubborn young man; uncle, calm, experienced electrician; mother, supportive and prayerful; neighbor, appears briefly during the second twist. So now, guess what? We have the description of the character. Musa is age 19, his appearance lean, short curly hair, expressive eyebrows, wears a loose t-shirt, cargo pants, and sneakers, carries a small satchel with tools, overconfident, smart, impatient at first, grows humble and methodical over time. Style is 2D cartoon with expressive animation. Then we have, for each one of them, right, you have the description of those characters, right? Is everybody following me? So we're going to ask GPT to generate the image prompt for each character. So I'm going to say, do one, right? I'm saying do one because the first thing it's saying here is generate an image prompt for each character so we can visualize them, right? So we're going to say do one. And when we say do one, it starts to actually generate the descriptions for each characters. So this is Musa's character, and this is the description for Musa's character. So we'll copy this here. And what do? We're going to create a new chat, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to attempt to generate Musa's character. And so you see GPT is generating the character. Everybody tracking with me. If you're tracking with me, say yes. So that's the first character. We're going to move to the next character, right? So I'm going to generate a character per chat. Everybody tracking with me? We have the first character generated. We're going to move to the next character here, Musa. So I'm going to say, once we are logged in on Musa's look, I'll move on to uncle. I'll say yes, move to uncle. So now this is the uncle's character. And then we'll see a prompt that represents the uncle's character, right? So you copy this. And what do? New chat. You paste. And then you generate the uncle's character. So let's go back to character. Everybody still tracking with me? If you're tracking with me, say yes. Now you can put the answer on the same chat. You can put the answer on the same chat, but I just do it separately so I can track the difference. So this is Musa. Everybody see Musa? So that is Musa. So I'm going to download Musa's image. I'm going to come on my desktop and I'm going to create a folder and I'm going to call it Learning the Hard Way. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to drop Musa's character here. So Musa's character. So I'm going to drop Musa's character right here. So download. So we have to save this as Musa. And you have to, that is my phone. So you have to save it first, move it to desktop, and then dump it here. And then put it under Musa's character. Then I'm going to create another one for uncle's character, uncle character. So I have to go to the next generation, which is this one. Man, this uncle looks mean. So we're going to generate uncle's character. So while the uncle's character is still being completely generated, so we have Musa's character, we have uncle's character. While the uncle's character is still being generated, I'm going to say move to mother character. I'll say move to character 3. Now you can generate everything on the same page. So, so this is character 3, and then you can copy this whole thing, right? Create a new chat for it, a new chat, and then generate. And then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to look for the neighbor character. So proceed to the neighbor character, right? So we're going to copy this. We're going to paste, create a new chat, paste, neighbor character. If you're tracking with me, say yes. Does this make sense? Of course, you can monetize the animation creation. That's the reason why I'm teaching you this. Come on, bro. Of course, Franklin. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. You don't have to wait for Pixar to create characters anymore, right? You understand what I'm saying, Franklin, right? You don't have to, because you can just do this yourself. So now for those that use Chat GPT, the free version users, our own is to look. For free version users, no. Every day, I believe there's an approximate number of messages you can send if you're using ChatGPT and you're ChatGPT 5 and you're using it for free every day. So there's no excuse for anybody. Just find out what that number is, exactly, the tokens. Find out what that number is and use it. All right. So we have the characters. So just so that I can, because I want everybody on this chat, if you are following what I'm doing, I want you to generate your own stories with ChatGPT. You can drop it in the chat in our WhatsApp group. And 2, I want you to create your own story and things of that nature. So let's do this, right? So we have Musa's character generated. We have neighbor's character generated. So let's do something. Let's experiment, because we have about 10 minutes, and I want to make sure that I'm able to get to a particular point. Okay. So let's say, for example, we wanted to describe something that was happening within a scene, right? We want to describe something that was happening within a scene. We add the photos from our desktop. So learning the hard way. I think we have Musa's character here. So I'm going to add Musa here. And then we have Uncle's character, but Uncle's character is not there. So let me move one of the most recent image. I'm going to drop this into Uncle's character. And I'm going to label this Uncle. So, and then I'm going to add Uncle to the script. So you see, you have Musa and you have Uncle. I'll say, can you create a scene with Musa arguing with his uncle? Right? So let's see what happens. So it will take Musa from the image, it will take Uncle from the image, and it's going to generate an image of Musa and the uncle arguing in a scene. Is everybody following me? If this is making sense, say yes. What do you mean explore option? So it's generating. Let's see what happens here. So it's going to have both Musa and the uncle in the scene having an argument. And with this, you can set the sizing. You can say, I want it to be 6 by 19. You can say, I want it to be pixel image, right? You can say, I want it to be whatever. And while that's happening, you can go on Canva. So I'm going on Canva. Let's try to log in. Let me see if this is going to work. I'm not trying to log in with Facebook. So let me enter the code. Sure, you get the recording later. So that's not a problem. So I'm entering my code. Let's see here. So when you enter your code, I'll say cartoon. So I can use this template or any other template that exists to start really setting how I want it to appear. So you can remove the images here. You can remove this one here. You can remove the names on top. And you can start to put your comic or your cartoon in the Canva. So let's go back. Let's try to see where. Guys, look at that. Look at that. Uh-oh. I was literally saying, looking at that, and something was happening right here in the building. Look at that, guys. Does this make sense to everybody? Does this make sense to everybody? If it makes sense, say yes. It does. So another thing you can do is, like, you want to be able to, so now you have this, you want to be able to move this into, maybe you want to be able to move this into Canva. I can come here and I can say upload, and I can go to most recent image. Actually, let's download this first. So let's download this first. So download. And then upload recent. Let me make sure I got the right image here. Okay, so we have the right image here. And then I'm going to go on downloads and the most recent download. So I'm going to go here to download. I'm going to start with the most recent download. And we're going to upload that here. And we're going to say use design. And under use design, you can drop it in custom design. You can choose the design you want to drop it in. And then now you have it here. And if you want, you can look for a better framing. See tools here. Thank you. Someone said nice work. Thanks. Come to elements. Let's say cartoon. Say message. A message bubble. See that? You can drop the message bubble here. And you can put the message here, right? You can put the text right on top of it, right? And have a text right on top of it. Hey, uncle. Why did you, whatever, right? So, see that, everybody? And you can create more bubbles and just drop it. You can even flip it, right? You can flip it to the other side. Let's see if we can flip this, if this will allow me flip. Flip. There you go. So we just flipped it. And you have another message here. And so you see the communication, and then you can create a Canva that represents all your conversations and everything, just using GPT. Who can do this? Like, did what I just explained make sense? If you get it, put it on the chat, say, yes, I get it. Yes, I get it. Yes, I get it. Yes. Yes, I get it. Okay, good. So many people get it. Fantastic. So you create your story, then you get your story broken down into the different characters. You generate the images for each of the characters. You can even create your scene separately. So your scene becomes its own separate generation. You bring everything together into your story to create your full cartoon. So based on what I've taught you today, how many people can create their own cartoons? Very small one, maybe 2-page cartoons, or maybe 1-page cartoon. Fantastic. Anybody else? Anybody else? Fantastic. Very good. Very good. Very good. You monster courage. Fantastic. I can try. We'll create plenty. Fantastic. Yeah, they'll share the recording with you. Fantastic. Right? So now we have our character or two of our characters here. Let's try to put an animation on top of it, right? So we're going to go to a tool called Kling. Now, you don't have to use Kling. You can use, there are many tools you can use for this. You can use, you can use Sora, you can use Nano, Nano Banana, Google VO, you can use that, right? You can use quite a number of tools, but for the sake of our conversation today, I'm going to continue this session. So this is just the first session because I want you guys to go and practice how to generate characters. I want everyone on the call to be able to generate their own characters. 2, I want you to be able to, you can program the characters to generate for the different sides of that character. So say for example, I have this character. So let's say, for example, I have this character. This, let me go to desktop. Let's go to uncle, the uncle character, right? I can say, can you generate the left, right side, and 1/3 of the character. So that way, you can actually have a more precise angle when you're generating the scenes that might need the character to turn left, or might need the character to turn right, or might need the character to turn side, or might need the character to bend down. So you can generate each of those sides before, label them, and then put them in your prompt while creating the scene. Does that make sense to everybody? Does this make sense to everybody? Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, someone said explore GPT with animation script reader. You don't really need that. Oh, how to get to explore GPTs. Oh, you just go to GPTs on the left side and then click on explore. And then search for animation script, and that's it. I hope that makes sense. Dev Ahua Gura. How do you get to Canva? canva.com. You sign up and you start using it. So let's go back. Let's get back to our assignment so we don't miss what we're trying to do here. So let's see. I wanted it to generate different characters. Did it generate that for me? I tried on browser but couldn't find it. Yeah, we can walk you through that later, okay? So that I don't get distracted. Give me 1 second. Let me just get through this quickly. So, can you generate left, right, side, left, right, side, and 1/3 for this character? Okay, so it's generating it now. While it's doing that, I'll teach you guys about a tool called Kling. Kling. What does this tool do? You take the already generated scene, you plug it into this tool, and then it will generate the animation for you, the description of the animation for you. So let's go to the initial one that has the scene, right? And let's say, can you create an animation, or can you create the description of the animation where uncle speaks to Musa in, or let's say uncle jumps 2 times while frustrated at Musa. And so it's creating the prompt for the animation, right? I'll say this prompt will be used in Kling. So generate a Kling-worthy prompt. Oh, it should be prompt. I said promote. That's fine. So we're going to take this. We're going to copy it. We're going to come to Kling. We're going to hit try it now. And while we're in Kling, we're going to come, we're going to go here. I got it. We're going to go to images, text to image, AI video generator. We're going to bring in our image, right? So our image is sitting here. Copy and paste it here. So let's go back to Kling. Okay. So it's trying to upload the image. So you see the image is uploaded. I'm going to copy our prompt. I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to hit generate. And once I hit generate, what it's going to do is, as you see, it starts generating the character performing the action we told it to perform. And once it's done generating the character, you can actually add an audio to the character. So you can say, for this specific character, I want to add the ability for it to do this, and this. You can add your audio to the character, and then you can actually see these characters doing what it is that you actually told them to do. All you're pasting is just a flat image. What it's generating for you is the animation and the interaction between the two characters. Does that make sense to everybody? I want to make sure it makes sense. Now, this might be difficult for you to do because this comes at a cost, right? But it's cheap. It's cheap. You know, you can do your first generation for free. My kids use this and they use the free version. They wait for a few and then they generate again. They wait for a few and then they generate again. So I want everyone to at least get their practice in, create a scene, put the characters together, generate your first animation and put it in the WhatsApp group. Generate your first animation and then put it on the LinkedIn. Let's do this. Let's do it. So who is going to test this out? The next time we meet, okay, I think it's done it. Let's see what the animation does now. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this, guys. You see that? Yeah. So if I wanted to add a sound to it, I'll hit the lip sync. I'll hit the lip sync, and then you can actually put sound. You can actually put sound to the characters, on the characters. Next, next, next. Got it. So you see, this is character one, and you can put a text of what you want it to sound like, and it would do it. And you can also add a sound from outside as well. You can upload a sound from outside as well, and drop it in there, and it will work perfectly. Does that make sense to everybody? So, guys, first assignment is ensure that you go back and you generate your characters. You can generate the characters on different sites. Generate the scene as well. I want some African scenes, right? You know, some village scenes. I want some, like, everything. Like, use all your, use all your brain power to come up with something really, really interesting, exciting, and things of that nature. And then from there, from generating your character, generate the scene, then you take the conversations that you want them to have, generate the conversation, put it on the WhatsApp group, put it on LinkedIn, and then next week, we're going to come and go through this again. Just make sure everybody understands that sequence. And I told you guys, for those that hang on tight, for the first individual that produces a stellar creative video, right? A stellar creative video, you're going to get a cash prize. And the cash prize would be 20,000 naira. So if you're up for it, it has to be a stellar one. Don't just do anything. I just don't want anything. Do something that is creative, something that makes sense. Think about the challenges in Nigeria. Think about the challenges in Africa. Think about challenges and create a stellar video. It has to make sense. So, it's not like you create a audio that will sound like, when I went to this abyss of I don't want that. Crisp, nice, quality video. All right. So let's see who is able to do it. And then next 2 weeks, Iboko, next 2 weeks, we're going to come back again, and I'm going to review what we discussed in today's class and basically explain how you can sequence your generation to be able to produce real nice quality videos. I'm in conversations with a few people, and we're trying to see how we can provide some credits for VEO. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. That's in the pipeline, but just pray and fast that we're able to get some access for you guys to play around with, maybe the Google VEO product or whatnot. So that's something we're trying to work out, but we don't know whether we don't know how far we're going to be able to pull it through. If we're able to pull it through, then fine. Otherwise, start with what you have, start with where you're at. I'm going to take what you share, and I'm going to go show it to some of our partners and say, hey, look, this is what they created. They want to be able to create more. Can you give us some credit so that they can actually create some more stuff? Does that make sense to everybody? Now, I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask one question or two or three. I'll take 2 or 3 questions before we shut down for the day. I've been in the studio for some time now. We've been working really hard trying to get some audio together. So Jason is here working out of the studio. He's saying hi to everybody. Everybody's saying hi to you. So Jason is saying hi, working really hard. So any questions? How do we get to the Kling? So Kling.com. Ibokun, can you drop Kling's website on the chat so that everybody can have it? Kling.com or Kling.ai, I think is what it's called. Kling.ai. Canva should be easy for everyone to use. I'm looking for people that will take this very, very seriously. WhatsApp group link, please. The animations cannot be monetized on YouTube, unfortunately, because YouTube shut things down, right? However, if you have something that is really good and makes a lot of sense, we can talk about how you can do it outside of YouTube. But you see, it needs to be really good. Guys, it needs to be really good. So I would say when you're creating your prompt, make sure you put Pixar level images, something like that. Also, when you're putting in your prompt, make sure you put the actual screen size. Like if it is 16 by 9, make sure you put it in the prompt. generate a 16:9 image. All right. So it has to be well done. If you are doing lip sync, I'll give you a tool that you can use for lip sync. It's also free. It's called 11 Labs. 11 Labs. 11 Labs. 11 Labs. I'm dropping some free game for you guys right now. 11 Labs. So this is the tool. And this tool will generate, you just put in your text, the dialogue, and you hit play. It will read it out, and then you can download.
In the ancient land of...
Okay, and then you can download as well. I can feed that into your clinch. So now you have the voice for the animation. So that's 11 labs. 11 labs. 11 labs. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'm waiting for who is going to come up with the best animation ever. Best animation ever. Not just someone who just comes up with something and then just post it for the sake of posting it. Think critically about what you're trying to post. Think critically about your story. Think critically about what you're trying to communicate. I know we just basically brushed through some of these things, but I want to see the individuals are able to take all the things that we discussed and bring it into making something make sense. I hope that makes sense. If you understood everything that was taught in today's class outside of the people that joined late, which is the reason why next class do not join late, because we're going to start on time. So make sure you join early so you don't miss out. So and Ibukun put the next class on the group chat today so that everybody knows when it's going to be. And make sure you're there early. But for those that couldn't, the link will be out so that you guys can learn and grow. If all of this made sense to you, put it on the chat. Say yes, it does. Before we end, thank you all so much for joining. And for those that needed the group chat that's being shared right now, he said it does. Okay, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So let's see who wins the 20,000 naira. So I hope to see some folks do a great job. God bless you too. Amen. Fantastic.